So I know it will probably be difficult to conduct ourselves as we're used to in the usual office hours,
Right.
since I want everybody to be able to, you know, get through a bit of what I have prepared. And then if we have time for questions, then we can open it up for that. Um, Jennifer, tell her if I could have you, I'm going to assign you as co-host if that's okay to help me keep an eye on participants joining. Yeah, since we're going to be going for um, quite a bit, I would imagine not everybody's going to be getting here right on at the start. All right, folks. So, as we know, we have the February 3rd date coming up for kind of the go live time for those links, the new links to be available and accessible. So today's session is obviously geared towards that, but I also want to um, talk about how the date of today is for your current payment options to be shut down. So, as far as the accounts, I'm not talking about that, just as far as the way, and I should have prepped an example for that, but like if you have a PayPal button or any way that's currently leading to um, the current way you handle your membership payments, that was a recommendation from the National League to shut those down. And sorry, I just need to pull up my notes for today so I could show you a quick example. Um, we talked about how since that is something that is recommended to be shut down, you probably want to have a quick little disclaimer, maybe kind of a short message that's just going to be available or that you would want to edit on February 3rd to actually make the links available. I wanted to show off the South Carolina page since they made it really easy. Page under construction, check back with us on February 3rd. But they have made the updates to their membership, um, like where exactly to join. This was previously information that was leading to a Milo page. So now they have using the images that National has provided, they've created a new button and they have set it up already to go to their new membership page. So it is up to you if you want to start making those changes now and make them published as of now. You always have the option to work with a draft. So you can just have it in waiting until Monday. Maddie.
Yes, I I created a new page and I published it so that people could see it, but I don't have anything going to it. And I was wondering, is there a way to switch over to that new page from my menu and also from all the other uh, links that go to it? I mean, the old one has a node. Can I change the node on the new one to the node on the old one? Is that a
Very,
possibility?
very, very good question. So the node, when you get down to those specifics, and in case anyone is unfamiliar with the node, I'm going to right click and copy the address and put it in a notepad so you can see it a little easier. If you see this link here, it technically translates to the um, like actual worded URL that is public facing. So this is known as like a more machine readable version, and that's why it is in it's just for us admins. It's just in the back end. But it's also another way to find this page. So regardless of if a page is renamed, because the title of a page controls the URL, um, that node would always stay the same. So that's another way to get to your page. So it's another URL or another link to it. So the node you cannot change to be another. That is always going to be a unique ID for this specific content. But you can change, and I can actually go over that now. You can change the page name of the old version so that you're essentially kind of freeing up the URL that it created. And then the new page that you want to take over, you would then name it that previous page's name so that you're essentially swapping the public facing URL. But yeah, very good question because the node ID will not change. So if you do use the node um, as your link, as your URL, then you would have to change that out. Um, but
Could
if you were using the public facing one, then it would, you know, change over automatically.
could you do that for Maddie so we could see exactly how she would do that? Because I'm not really I'm a little confused how I'm
Yeah, I can
doing.
show that off right now in an example because I don't know if Maddie's ready to do that just yet. I can just go based off what I have set up here in the sample basic site. So right now my join button and just simply join in the menu. I believe they're going to the same page. Let's just double check. Yeah. So since the menu link is lit up in blue, I can tell it's going to the same place.
And
So
it would join in the URL at
and
as
that's the other part too. Yeah. So that's the connection of join right now to that URL. And that disconnect that we're going to do is by renaming this page. So what we want to do is essentially free up this URL, right? So first, let's get into a new draft. Name it anything but join. You could just append on a word. You can change it completely. I'll do one that's very simple. But again, obviously, the more crazy or different you make it, you're going to very easily see it in the URL. But as long as it is not just join, then we're freeing up that URL/join. So I'm going all the way to the bottom just so that I can publish the change.
and this is you're working on the live one that current that it's live. It's the one that
Yes, like
you
it's like
need
my
to
current
move from
process, my current page that I'm using. This join is that for me
the
for this
old one.
sample site. Yes.
Okay.
So now the old one, we have renamed it. And now let's just use the one right below. We're going to say that this page, this long title, Join Us Magnify Our Voice, LWVSA, we're going to make this our new page. So now when I rename it, I should go with simply just join. And then same thing, I'm going to go straight to publish. All right. So now, well, the menu link will have updated when I rename the page, but what we really want to test is the button up here. So our button is now going to that new /join address. So does that make sense? The menu link did not, or it did what was expected because it's going to remember the page that it's connected to. It's not the link or the URL that it's associated with for the menu. So that you do have to manually go in and change. But the
Yeah,
join button is /join and it's now connected to that new page.
yeah, I noticed that the button in my sidebar and a number of other areas that existed before I started working on this, they used the node. So would I be able to go in and just change the node
Yes,
in those places to the old one, or change it to the public facing link?
certainly. Yeah, wherever. So let's try that with this menu link for join. So wherever you have the ability to enter a URL, yeah, you can use the node or you can use the public facing. And that public facing, especially in these situations, takes the work off of you if you ever update that page to a different one, since it will remember it. Okay, so let me just double check. Yeah, so join is the URL we want to update. Okay, so that is why the menu link was not updating. I did have it connected to the node. So as Maddie said, instead, I'm going to just copy the link address from the page, the public's URL, rather than grabbing the node. And then we're going to go through this again. I'll go ahead and act as if we're going to replace this one with a new join page once again. So then we should, at that point, we'll see the menu link will link to whatever is currently being used as our join page. Oh, and sorry, I'm getting a look at the chat now. Real quick, I'll show what the node is in just a second. And yeah, sorry, Kathy Marie, we will go more in depth in the changes that do need to be applied to your page directly. So when it comes to replacing that link, okay, so as we did before, sorry, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. We have this as our current join page. Like we did before, I'm going to rename this so that it is letting go and freeing up the slash join URL that's up here. And whenever I say slash join or slash whatever the ending is, I'm always just referring to the ending of your Milo site's URL. So the first step is renaming. And to answer the question about the node, the new draft reveals the node to you. And so if you did want to use the node ID for anything as your URL, then that's the portion that you would grab. So we rename this to whatever. Make sure you publish that. And we see the immediate change in the URL. And now you go to the new, what will be the new join page. And we do have written instructions for this. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me drop that in the chat.
What are the two, magnify and join? Are those? There are three here rather than just two. Why are there three?
This is just a sample site. I just have them so that we can go over kind of different situations that different leagues might have. Some leagues use, a web form. So that's why I have an example there. Yeah, don't worry about how this is set up because it's just a sample.
Okay.
All right, so now join the league will be my new join page. So we need to take it down to just the word join. And again, same thing, publish and save. If you did need to make actual changes to the page, you totally can. It's the most important thing is that you take it down to the title to the word join, and that will free up the URL. So now travel to another page, click on join. We should see join the league in the menu. And so this is very helpful when you have had a cloned page. So let's say that you have requested one of the pages that we've seen in the emails about, how you should have your new page set up. I'll bring up an example. And so if you had one of these pages cloned, and you did want to use this as your new join page, then that's what you would want to do. Depending on how you have things set up, it should typically be /join. But if, let's say your URL, this one is also /join. If your URL was something different, you can check in with me. I would say definitely try it out first with using just the word join. If there's a disconnect, let us know and then I can check that out for you. And I will also go, further in depth on the changes that we want to see made on our pages. But I'm going to get to Mike's question first.
Okay. Uh, Another way I think of this is that our current join is under the name of join, and
Hmm.
that's also keys the link and everything else. So everywhere I have join, it will show up when I click on it on a newsletter, or whatever button I've created, it comes to this /join page. When
Correct.
I create my chapter spot, I'll create a brand new page called join parentheses chapter spot.
Hmm.
Put all the stuff, wonderful things I'm in.
Hmm.
Then when it's time to quit, I'll go to my join page, like she said. I'll save this as a new, I'll open it up and save it under a new name called join old membership and
Hmm.
put the date in. So I
Hmm.
always know what I did to it. Then I go back into the chapter spot one and open that up, eliminate the chapter spot, and then and just have it join. And so then all the join buttons now work when you save it. So
Yes.
you really don't do anything. You just are substituting names
Hmm.
and then make the names intuitive because otherwise I get lost.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can
Now,
definitely
the
do.
other thing is that because you've got them up here, you have to, I would assume, that's what I asked you, you've got to, sorry, I'm pointing, you can't see me point.
Are
On
you
the
talking about the
left-hand
menu?
side under home, you've got all those three joins. I'm assuming when I'm all done, I hit the gear button and I have to list the links. And my old join will be here. So I'll have to uncheck the box so it's not enabled. So it will not show up in the tree. Is that correct?
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up too. Yes. So that is another piece to it, because you're adding a new page. There is a chance that depending on how you have your menu link set up, that your current menu link for what would have been connected to the old page may also shift over to connect to the new page. But if not, then you can, you know, uncheck what you have there, disable, and then save. In my case, that probably would be what I want to do for this sample site since I already have multiple links. But let's say instead you want to just update the current one you have. If you're working with just one join link and you don't need to fuss with adding anything new, you would just come in here, update the path, um, and then, you know, save from there.
Now, the other thing that you get because you do it that way, you automatically has a path backwards in case this doesn't work. You can then go back in your tree, look at the one that's not enabled, enable it, your old one, and then reverse the process. God forbid this doesn't work and you have to go back to your PayPal way of getting paid or whatever we set up before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
there's
one
no
of the
limit.
benefits of doing it that way. You get to save all your old logic.
Right. Yeah. There's no limit to how many menu links you can have, whether they're enabled or disabled or not. And so yeah, as Mike is saying, if you just disable it, then it will hold on to all of the settings that you had in it, the URL it was connected to.
And the only thing that's you're sorry, the users can't see it, only you can, and only in this view. So that's good, right?
Yeah. Um, and then I see in the chat that there was a point of couldn't you just edit your current page? Yes, you can also um, typically copy very seamlessly from a Milo page to a Milo page. So if we were here, the only thing sometimes the images may not come in exactly how they are laid out on the page, but you can just, copy, whoops, highlight whatever you need, copy from the page, including the images. When we talk about or we see images up at the top, that's when they might get a little different than what we see here when we copy it over. But yeah, let me actually copy some bit of this. All right, and copy just the top half. So there we go. Paste it in. It looks pretty much the same, even, with the way it's laid out, as what we saw on the previous page. And that you could also keep as just a draft if you're not ready yet, to go live with that. But yeah, that, when it comes to from a Milo page to another Milo page, you can just easily copy and paste. Okay, so Sandy and then Jan.
Okay, just a quick follow-up to the comment that I think it was Tom. I can't remember who's put that in the chat. So that's what I did. I basically created a new draft of the join page, put all the links in there. Now I've added what South Carolina did, which is this is under construction.
Hmm.
I can just go and publish that, right? Because it's, even though the links
Yeah.
aren't working, everything is there, right?
Right.
So I can publish that today. My question is, when I've been making these drafts, what I notice is when I put a new title in for the page and I save it, it doesn't actually change when I look at the draft, the old name is still there. So I think it doesn't change until I publish it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if I go ahead and just publish this new version, which has the under construction, I'm ready to go, right? And then on Monday, I just take out that under construction and that's it, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I could think of, and I don't know if it applies, if you needed to have it renamed to join, like the whole process we just talked about. If you did you say you created a new page or were you editing?
I edited the current join
Okay.
page.
No, then you're good.
I edited the current one. I changed the name though. I changed it to Join Renew just because I wanted to. Can't I just in the new draft, right?
Yeah, that should be fine. If you see that you have /join as a link anywhere, as far as like, if you only just use /join renew as your membership page, then that's okay. But if you run into seeing /join, maybe that was an old page you used or something, you can let us know and we can create the redirect if needed.
Yeah, I really didn't. I only had a couple, just the button at the top, and it wasn't even in my menu. I disabled it from the menu.
But the button at the top does lead to that page currently?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you run into any issues after publishing, let us know because then a redirect may be needed. But
Okay,
yeah,
thank
you sound
you.
like you're set.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a relief.
All right, Jan.
My question is about, we've chosen to do the redirect and not have the intermediate page.
Mhm.
This all just kind of applies to people who are keeping the intermediate page.
Yes, all of that as far as having to rename the page to the old thing and then renaming the new one to join, that is for, if you're keeping that intermediary page, you're keeping kind of here's some information about membership before going to that.
I wanted to keep my logic from before, like maybe it's a good idea to just have it in the background. I could let's see, I could clone it and name old, right?
Yeah, you can always clone an item. And if you have any trouble, typically I think you guys are working with not a huge team. We all know how that goes. But if you needed to, let's say, clone something, but you don't see the ability to clone it'll say, at the top of the page, clone this page or clone this event, whatever it is. Whoops, I went to the wrong thing. Manage content is what I wanted to go to. So you find that a page is not accessible as far as cloning to you. You just need to check the box for whichever ones you need and then change author. And let's see, I'm masquerading.
Amaris?
So you just find the person. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't find the raise hand. Is there any way to search to see if a node, the URL with an address on it, is being used in more than one place, two places? to see where it might be referenced?
There isn't a way to search it. There is your site search, but I don't believe that it pulls from the URL or, if you're looking for a specific node.
I just wondered if we might get caught with having a reference that we didn't even intend somewhere. But that's okay. I just wondered. Thank you.
Gotcha. You might be able to try Googling that. All right. So as far as going step by step, I just wanted to check with Eileen before I jump into that.
Great.
What was
No,
her
thanks.
question?
I joined a couple minutes late. So when I received the email from you, Amaris, where it gave you the option of submit that
Submit your
we-
redirect request.
yeah. So I was taking that route because my president said, and I agree with her, if somebody else looks to do the work, well, take it. So I just want to make sure I did submit that and gave the URL of our present join, and that the process would be that Milo would take the link. Is that the process?
Yeah. So the link that you submit, we are going to redirect it to your portal.lwv .org link. So that's going to be done on Monday. And so
And you know that link, even though it's not active,
yeah,
or do you? Oh,
the
okay.
National League did provide us with the
Oh, great.
list.
Okay.
So
And then thank you very much. And thank you for providing such great service. And then for the chapter spot, that'll just be a new button when I don't remember if we received that link or not, but that's a new function for us to add to our homepage. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
At this point, I can go over that. We see that the LWV member portal link is here. As far as
Oh, I
the
see. Yeah.
that's the general link. So the other place it is, I'm going to go ahead and log out. On the register page, and it looks like I'm zoomed in a little too much there. There we go. This is where if folks end up on the actual Milo login page, this should hopefully catch them there as well. I do see we have to make oh, okay, no, it was my screen zoomed in that made it look a little funky earlier. So we have those two. Those are set as far as on everybody's site, and they're not removable. As far as the login bar goes, if you did want to opt for having that removed or not displaying, we can do that. Just let us know. But I am going to go ahead and jump into the step by step. So I'm going to hold off on questions for now, but we can jump back into that if we have some time afterwards.
Thank you.
Certainly. All right. So we see that the general links or general buttons are there. As I said, they will be remaining there. There's no way to change those. But in your home page, we will now have the ability to add some buttons. So, sorry. All right. So we have under, let me actually show that again, because this is at the very bottom of the section I just opened. I'm on my home page, and it's advanced settings that I'm opening up. And sorry, I just need to close some windows over here to make things a little smoother on my end. All right, advanced settings. And we scroll all the way to the bottom of this like little container. Member portal will be what you're looking for. You can control what your join button says for the sidebar. So let's actually, I'm just going to test this with any URL I have. And then you can choose whether you want to have, you can have all three of these. The membership button refers to your league's membership form, the join/renew form. So I'm going to turn them all on for the example. But like I said, you can have some off, some on. Add global membership button in the sidebar. So the global membership button is the general login button. So you can feature another one in your sidebar, as well as the one that stays in the login bar. And then we can also add the membership link on the current join button. This last one here is just for the purple and gold sites, since those are the sites that have the header buttons. So I think I am working on a purple and gold site. So we'll see all three of these in action. And we just want to publish that. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay, yeah, thank you. If I could ask everybody to mute themselves just so that we can make it not with so much background noise. Thank you guys for the message. All right, so we have updated the URL on the join button. So we see the join button, although I entered the title as join/renew, this join button is going to remain how you have it set up for your league as far as the text goes. So we click on join, and I forgot to show you guys, I used this URL as the one for this example, and it did take us directly to that page. As far as the join button in the sidebar, they're down here. So they'll be added underneath anything you have in your sidebar currently. So this is everything I have in my sidebar. Let me zoom in a little more. So this is everything in my sidebar. And then down here, we have the join/renew and then the LWV member portal. So I'm already seeing there might be a tweak made. I'll make sure that the LWV member portal button is going to the proper place, because I think right now it might be going to a league's direct link. Yeah, but that's okay. I'll make sure we get that done today. But the join/renew button here in the sidebar, same thing. It goes to the indicated URL. So that's how the built-in buttons will work. They are just applying buttons in your sidebar, and if you are working with the purple and gold site, then applying that URL change to your current join button. If you are in the boat where, like many other leagues, you have, join buttons on your actual join page, then we will need to make direct changes to your actual join page. And as we saw, well, let's see, what did I rename it to? I have, 3 different join pages here because I wanted to show off different scenarios. Some leagues use a web form, some leagues just have a button that is, taking the person elsewhere. It really depends on what your situation is. So let's first open up the Join Us page here. Oops. This one here is a web form. So if you're working in this category where you have a page that, as we've been calling it, the intermediary page that has membership information, but it is also the web form, you have a couple ways around this. I think I like Tom's route where you can just copy and paste, because that might be the easiest way and you're not having to delete too much. If you're okay with deleting, that's okay, because essentially the web form will remain because you have all of the form components. So you have a couple of options if you wanted to keep using this same page. You can delete every single form component, and that as you delete them, once you have 0, you'll have just the content of the page. I would just have everything up here, and then I can change it to whatever I need it to be. The other option is to close the web form. So in the form settings, down at the bottom here, there's the option to close the form entirely. The only difference with that is that you will get this little warning: submissions for this form are closed, even though when you scroll down, it's not evident that there's any form here at all. So that's why I say copying and pasting to a new page is also an option. The only thing there is if you do end up copying and pasting to a new page, you would be needing to go through that process of name this old page to something else to free up that URL, and then the new page that you've created with this copied text, then you would have to rename that to join. So that's with a web form. If you have it, all set up on the same thing. Yeah, I can go through deleting those. So let's have it open in another tab so we can show what it looks like, and then we delete it. Whoops, forgot I closed that form. Let me reopen it, and then we can show an example of deleting one. It's okay, sorry, jumping around quite a bit. So we're going to delete joining or renewing as an individual there. Let me show you what it looks like. That's the question there at the top. So deleting just asks you really quick to confirm. You click delete again, and it's immediately gone. So you do have to delete them individually if you are going that route. So going through each one, and then, yeah, they just get removed as you go along. Any questions on that one? Sorry, I'm going to take a second with the chat. Did you say that if we submit a redirect form to you, then the join button at the very top of my page will go directly to our chapter spot? Yes. So if you submit this URL that the button is connected to, which is the one ending with /join, then that means your chapter or your join button in the header would be going to the new chapter spot form. And if you had that same URL anywhere in your menu or anywhere else on your site, same idea. It would be redirected.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry. Isn't the web form redundant? I mean, if people are going to be joining and renewing through ChapterSpot, why would we need a web form?
Right. And so that's why I'm saying you want to either close it, you want to either delete all the web form components. I'm just talking about if this is how you currently have it set up, then we want to, get rid of it. As you're saying, it is redundant, because I imagine that you can add like member interest questions to the form. I'm not sure. But if that were a need and that's not being covered by the chapter spot form, then that's where maybe you might want to have a web form. But it, again, is not necessary.
Okay, thank you.
So ours is a redirect that is a web form. So I can just close. I can just close the web form.
If you're going to have it redirecting, then you don't even have to do anything to the form. Since the redirect that I'll be doing, it will, the moment that someone clicks, they don't even get to see what the old content was. They're immediately going to that new page that it's being redirected to.
I should close this today because we don't want to accept any payments after today, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you can, put like how we've seen, under construction, come back February 3rd or something, or have the redirect going now, and folks will see under maintenance and usually go back. Yeah, it is totally up to you.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and if anybody, I'm also seeing Kathy's question. If you have any questions or are unsure about the redirect that you submitted, send me an email. I won't be jumping on those until Monday, so there's some time to talk about it if you're unsure of maybe it's not the right page that you sent. All right, so Eileen and then Liz.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
More thing. Since we're doing, let's see, what was it? Oh, I don't want it, the portal thing. I want to put that in my members only So I don't want it showing in my menu, but I'm red and blue. Is that a problem?
Are you talking about the registration link?
Yeah, going to update your membership information.
So it will be remaining in the login bar, and then if you wanted it to be in your sidebar, then that you choose.
I don't want them to see that unless they go to members only. Because we put in all our members and when they log in, they see the members only stuff.
Gotcha. It is a global button in the login bar. I think right now the dev team is still working on it, so it's disappeared for a second. But that button here on the left-hand side,
On the red
it's
and
going
blue.
to remain, yeah, red and blue or purple and gold. So if you are not wanting that, I would have to look into if we have that ability to,
Because you said you could do it in the purple and gold, right?
but I'm referring to the button in the login bar. Are you referring to a different button or a different location for the button, or
Where you got it highlighted right now, up in the top in the blue area by,
that area is what you're talking about as well?
yeah, I want that. I don't want that showing.
Yeah, it will be globally set, but I will see about if it is available to be essentially turned off. I'm not
Great.
sure.
Great. I can email you off.
Yes, thank you. Yes. It always
No,
helps
thanks.
to keep that going. Go for it, Eileen.
Yeah, thanks. The way you answered a previous question, now I just might be confused. So we want to create that we don't, right now we have a join renew button. And we want that we don't change any of that content. So I think when you were answering a question, if we fill out that submission form with that you have access to our unique URL,
Mhm.
I got the impression that it's going to go to ChapterSpot then, or
Yes, that is what the
okay,
submit your redirect
okay,
request is about. It would
great.
be
So
going there.
I don't want that. So what I should do is I'll email you and cancel that.
Mhm.
And what I should do is create a new draft that people have described where I put the link that we were given, even though it's not active. And then I could publish it or I could wait till Monday. I don't know.
Right.
We were
Yeah.
we were afraid we might lose, you never know when somebody wants to join free news. So we were trying to hold off till the link was active, but I can do the prep work to create the new draft. And I'll look at some of the other ideas about either under or I think the copy was come back on February 3rd. Okay.
Right.
This has been
Yeah.
extremely helpful. Okay. Yeah, because we were trying to minimize, even though it's been really helpful with all the sessions about providing the rationale for the new world, we don't think our members are that engaged. So we're trying to keep everything the same in our content and just and the way to do that would be to do a new draft. Use the link that we were provided, even though it's not active. Okay. And
Yeah.
publish it. You could publish it now, or you could publish it on Monday, perhaps when it's active.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This has
No
been
problem.
extremely helpful.
No problem.
And then, the question in the chat, when you were talking about the advanced settings,
Mhm.
the LWV member portal, I would, my sense is that's the link to the ChapterSpot membership platform.
Yes. Yeah. And I can
Great.
show that
Okay.
again too.
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was, it's pretty much, that's the new process that we wouldn't have, and that's how people can update their information. Great, thank you. I'm not trying to close off any questions, but now I finally got it.
No. Thanks, Eileen. All right, Liz, go for it.
Those advanced settings want a little
Yeah.
flap.
Yeah. Let me go through that again.
Well, but why do I need those if I have the thing in the menu bar at the top? I have everything I need there, right?
Yeah, you can just opt with what you got. As far as, like I said, the general registration link is going to live in the login bar and it will be on the login or registration page for Milo. If you have your join button set up and you like how it is and it's going to work for you with your changes, then you don't have to make additional changes or use those buttons in the advanced settings.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I wanted to go over um, the changes to a page. As we said, the current page that you're using, if you wanted to just make a new draft of that, that's probably the easiest way as far as, making the work less for you. Um, I did see really quick the mention of let's see. When and how are we going to get the new link for Chapter Spot? What does it look like? That should be something that was sent out from National, I think, a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't seen that, I would say check in with membership at lwv.org. That that way they'll let you know maybe where your league is in the process. I think that as long as your league set up the Stripe account properly, then you would have gotten that next email, which was the URLs. So yeah, membership at lwv.org. Okay, so the way to make the changes to your page, I am going to go the easy route and essentially just replace the current buttons. Let's use one of these examples actually. Okay, so I'm using the Spokane areas page. This is taken from their current site. So this is how they currently have it set up. Um, the join or renew now button that they have is currently going to, and I also copy this over from their site too. So the way that this is in the menu, this is how the Spokane Area League also has it set up. What I would usually do here is the easiest way is to unpublish the join or renew form. If you did want to make sure that anyone who might have this URL somewhere, or it's displayed somewhere else on your site, or anywhere else that you don't have access to edit, then you could submit this URL for a redirect. And like I said, anywhere that this URL is and someone clicks on it, they're immediately taken to that new destination. But what I'll do, since we're, opting for the simplest option, first, let's go with turning that joiner, or actually, if we unpublish it, it will get out of the menu as well. So we unpublish this revision so that, again, not only will it drop off the menu, but it will also just not be available and someone might accidentally join through our old form. So that is disabled from the menu, and we're left with just the intermediary page, the top page. What I would need to do is update this current button that I have. Sorry, let's try that again. There we go. All right, so the button currently, join or renew now. Let's see where we have it set up to. There we go. Gotta, no, it doesn't show me. Let's try over here. The insert edit link tool. I just placed my cursor in there. And if you have a current link, it does pull it up without having to, do the workaround of re-highlighting that text. So this here, I don't have one of the portal links pulled up. Let's just use the general one. I don't have the other longer custom version. So we'll pretend that this is my actual league's join link. You can have it open in a new window by default, this is going to open in the same window because we're within the umbrella of this domain. So Milo and the portal, they're all going to be seen as internal links opening in the same window. So you could force it to open in a new one. We can give it a title. I don't know what we want to title this, but I'll just put whatever so that we can see what it looks like. And then the class here, you can choose, essentially it's the same styles that you have over here. I'm going to choose button. Oops. Let's try that. And now remove it from here. There we go. The reason I chose it from here, I don't know if you noticed I chose button from the class there. The link was red earlier, and when I set the button class from the insert edit link tool, it made the text white. So that's a little workaround if you ever see that for yourself. Typically though, the buttons will, whether you set it up here or not, will come up in white. So I've updated that link in what I already had. And actually, while I'm here, let me go over another example. So we see this button with the formatting that Milo offers. That's a very simple way, an easy way to add a button. If you wanted to opt for using your own image, or maybe another league has uploaded one of the images that National has provided, which I see one here already. Or you can create your own. As long as you have an image that you'd like to use, which I'll use the one that's already uploaded, you insert that image, and then we'll go through the same steps. This time I'm going to use the link to content. So I clicked on the image to select it or highlight it. It's a little hard to see, but you can see kind of behind this window that popped up that my image is selected. We add the URL that we want to have. And again, same options that we had earlier. We can choose a different target if we don't want it to open in the same window, and then a title. And we insert. So let me go ahead and save this. And it's the same idea if you needed to add a member portal button. Add the image first and then hyperlink it. Or if you're going to go with the Milo formatting, add the text, add your hyperlink, and then you can format to the button. So when you hover over the item, the button, the image, whatever it is that you gave a title to, we see it there, chapter spot, and then the other one will say join now. So since I didn't force it to open in a new tab, we're seeing that it does open in the same tab. So that is typically it's probably going to be most webmasters who are going to need to do that. Since you don't typically only rely on the buttons in your sidebar and the header, you usually have to make some direct content changes. I'm going to take a little second for the chat. We definitely do have some written instructions. Let's see. So adding a button is 2 steps. It is inserting an image, and then the second step is adding the hyperlink. So I'm going to drop a few documentations in the chat. It is, as I said, like it is 2 parts to create a button. So these instructions aren't going to be exactly geared to the membership transformation, but you make it custom to what you need, because again, the images will be whatever you want to serve as the button. And then adding that link will be what you need it, what specific link you need to use. So inserting images is the first documentation I've dropped there. This one here talks about how to upload images. I think the first documentation talks a little bit about uploading. Yeah. So in case you need some more information about uploading images, that's the second one. And then the final one there that I'm going to drop is inserting links. So again, you need to upload the image, insert it into wherever in your page, and then hyperlink it. Take another little second. All right, and then there was a question about what the National League is going to do. Yes, they should be sending out an email come February 3rd to your members, and then every renewal time. I don't want to get too much into that because I know we can that can be quite a bit of discussion. The resources, though, that I do want to show off, I think part of the answer to Linda's question is probably found on the Chapter Spot resources page, which I will look up and drop next as far as the link into the chat. But this one here is the membership renewal guidance page. It gives us some really good detailed information about what the process will be. We get those image files here for the buttons. And then they also give you the process of the offline joining and renewal process. The printable join form is available for you too as a template on Canva, or you can just download the zip files of these. But if you wanted to edit them, the template is available on Canva. So I think that's really helpful. Then, like I said, let me look up the Chapter Spot resources page. I think that they may have mentioned something about what communications members will get on that membership guidance page. Or it's on here. I cannot recall, but it is worth, if you haven't already, looking through these resources. The emails that have been going out are here. So you can get an idea of emails your league might have not received yet. And like I said, if that is the case, reach out to membership@lwv.org. And I see that there's a question if there's higher res versions of the buttons. At this time, I don't believe so. I can see about if something I create would come out any better. Because it does look like they are simply one of the fonts that we use as far as I think Lato or Lotto, however you pronounce it, and Merriweather. Yeah, I haven't downloaded the zip file for myself, but I can see what I can do about at least creating one high resolution version there. Yes, thank you, Pam. The emails, as I was saying, on the Chapter Spot resources page, you can see what has been sent out, and then a bunch of other resources like FAQs and all that. And then a good tip from Kathy there in the chat. Okay, so let me take a quick pause to take a look at my notes. Okay, so as far as the changes made directly to your page, I can also, we kind of saw it a little bit ago when I copied a section, but I wanted to also copy from a different page. And anybody who is unfamiliar with, before I jump into that, the lwv.org league management, that's where I was at to find the Chapter Spot resource. So if you're going from lwv.org, go down to the very bottom and they have league management in the sidebar. And then I just searched Chapter Spot. Yeah, so that is, and you might want to subscribe to the League Update newsletter. I bet that they probably mentioned some stuff about it in there as well. Whoops. Okay, so like I said, I wanted to show copying from an entire page. We're going to be using one of the other examples that we were sending around in email. I am copying this in its entirety. And I'm actually just going to replace everything I have. So I'm hitting Control A, and we don't want to paste this plain text because we want it to hold on to the formatting. So make sure you just paste. And the images, the links. So that's one thing too that you do have to remember, whether you're working with a clone or you've copied the content like I just did, all of it to my new page. Remember to update links, buttons, anything that's linked and customized to that previous league. You'll want to remember to change those. So just as we did before, we can use the insert edit link tool since it's already linked to something. Oh, will it not show up? If it comes out to be that you're not able to see the link, then just break it off. So let me show that again. I think my computer is acting a little funky since I'm on a Zoom and we're so many. But the button or link, if there's text like this, whatever it is, you can always break and unlink that. Obviously, if you're going to get rid of the text, that's going to get rid of the URL. But link, to add your new link, you can use the insert edit link tool. If you do that, then make sure, we minimize that for a second. We select the image. Let me pull my toolbar over here, or taskbar. And then down here, I can see insert edit link. And then you set that up with whatever link URL you need and you insert. So let me just save it as that. And there we go. And one thing too, the URL that you enter, make sure that you do include at the very least HTTP, this beginning, whether you use HTTPS and those symbols after all that, or HTTP, whichever version, but make sure you do include that, because if you just type in portal.lwv.org, what the Milo system does is assume it's an internal link. So it's just going to throw it on the end of your website's URL. And that's obviously going to just lead them to a page not found. Or it might just lead them back to your home page actually. But either way, it's obviously not sending them to the proper place. And so make sure you have at the very least HTTP://. The QR code was an image that Mike made himself. Mike is the webmaster that created this page. Mike, can you tell us how you created the QR code?
Yes. I just put in Google create QR code, and Adobe comes up with a free version, and it shows it on the page. And then I used the Microsoft snipping tool and copied it as an image and saved it as a JPEG and then inserted it. Now, I guess you can pay for the saved image for Adobe, but I didn't do it that way.
Yeah. And I see in the chat too, Amy suggests Canva. I think that with the
Yep.
free account, you can do it there as well. And I, being a millennial, always just Google what I'm looking for and then free. So, that is something that you can test out as well. But Canva is always a great option. I'm going to take a little second for the chat again.
I have a question for Mike.
Go for it. Yeah.
Sure.
You have a video on your website. How do I get that video? Is that on the LWV US site somewhere?
Yes, Emerson, if you go to the chapter spot resource page.
Yeah, I think it's here as well on the
Yes,
membership
right there. Oh,
guidance. Okay,
yep,
there
right
we go.
there.
Yeah, so let's do that too. I'm going to copy the URL up here in the taskbar. There's two ways that you can display it on your website. If you wanted it to be just the link, then let's show that off. So let's say we want to just have the words, whoops, this video be the highlight or be hyperlinked. So we have that selected. I'm going to use the link it tool and just paste in what I've copied. So let's insert. All right, so there we have that one. The other way, I'm going to go ahead and just do both in the same instance. The other way is to embed it. So coming back to this page, the share button down underneath the video gives you an option to embed. If you needed to customize it, you can always customize the dimensions. I think this is just going to be coming in at full screen. So we'll just copy it as it comes. I come back to my page here. Since we are using embed code, we do have to set it to full HTML, the text editor, so we would have to change it. The one thing I like to do is add a placeholder word, and you can use whatever, but as long as a word isn't anywhere else in your text box, it'll be easy to find. So if you spot it, then that's good, but if you aren't easy or able to easily spot it, then we can just search, and there I have it. So replace that, and you can paste that in either plain text or regular. Paste that in, and since we are pasting in embed code, you have to leave it as full HTML. And let's check that out. I see a question from Richard. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth a little bit. The emails that are coming from the National League are coming from transformation@lwv.org. But if you have questions for National, then you would send your email to membership@lwv.org. Yeah, thank you. I see Deborah's response. All right, so back here. Whoa, that is rather large. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
I
really
definitely, did you
really play with
customize
it.
it?
Yes,
Okay,
because it's huge.
at least dividing it in half, I think would be a good way to start. I thought that this would have been full screen, but that makes sense. It's rather large there. So if you are going the embed route, then definitely you'll want to customize that. But you can simply just link to it and it'll open in a new tab automatically. But that is helpful if your members need a little bit of guidance to go through the new process.
Hi, I'm sorry. So I did put the link in there, but when you just showed us about the placeholder,
Mhm.
so when you put placeholder in and then you,
Oh, you're muted, Tess. I heard up until when you add that in. Whoops. No, you're still muted.
okay,
There you go.
okay. So when you put the word placeholder on the page itself,
hmm
and then you put in the embed code. So are you saying that when you go to the embed code and you change the word placeholder in the embed code with another word, it actually places places the embed code in the page? Is that what happens?
The placeholder word is really for us to help us visually find the exact spot in the HTML that we need to drop that code. Let me go through that.
Oh,
Whoops. I can go through that again.
okay.
I can also show off in case you were, making changes to your page and if you accidentally published something too early or, you weren't ready to make whatever changes or apply whatever changes you did, you have the ability to revert to a previous version. So I am actually going to revert to the last published version of this
Okay.
and put whatever you need as the log message, but it's required. And so we come back. All right, and there we go. What we're going to do is just work with what we had before. I think actually the draft that we were currently working with. Okay, no, it did revert everything. Okay, so let's take the URL again for the video. This time I will customize it. So let's see if I can do some quick math. All right, so I'm going to divide this by 4. So that gives me 480, I think.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we copied the embed code. Let's come back over here. If I was doing this properly, I would write some text to give some context to this video, but I'm just going to drop it in. So just like we did earlier, I use whatever word comes to you. I'm going to use dinosaur this time. It really doesn't matter what the word is, as long as you're not using the word league or women, because we use that everywhere else. So you're going to have
Okay.
many results. So the idea is just to use a word that's not going to appear anywhere else. And then full HTML. It gets,
Oh, I see.
it gets a
I
little
see.
jarring when you change to that. So that placeholder really helps. And then on my keyboard, I hit Control F, and that brings up the little search. So we just look up our little placeholder word, and you can simply just highlight that word to get rid of that. If you wanted to get fancy, you can replace like the opening paragraph and closing paragraph tags as well. But
Mhm.
the only difference that will make is that it'll, enclose the space a little bit more, but it shouldn't make too much of a difference if you just replace the placeholder word. So that's what I'm doing. I pasted in my code. Let's go ahead and save that.
Okay, so actually what you're doing is instead of going to the box to put in an embed code, where you can enter an embed code underneath the page,
Mhm.
you're actually embedding it in the document that you have up there already,
Yes,
in the
yes.
body of the, okay.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up because yes, this is
Yeah,
the other option to work with the body with embed code section under the body.
okay.
That just means that your video would be, lower on the
Wait,
page.
right,
But
right,
depending on how you have things arranged, maybe the body area you have less content so that the video you do add in the body with embed code does come up higher on your page, and then you can add additional formatted text underneath the video. So it really
right.
you have the option to change it up. But yeah, if you are
Mhm.
going with the having it all in the body, that placeholder word really helps when you're switching into the full
Oh, that's
HTML.
great. That's great. Okay. Yeah.
Jan, go for it.
So how does it look
Can
when you
Send
look
us
at
the
the
embed code that Mike used.
Sorry, Tess, 1 second. What was that?
Can you send us the embed code that Mike used? Just put it in the chat so we can copy it and paste.
I'm not sure which embed code Mike used. I can also paste in what I have here. Would this work this
Yeah, that's
size?
fine.
Okay,
I think I
so
Okay,
use
that's good.
500.
That's good.
500.
Yeah.
It's easier to go from I found to go to the site and just walk through the process she did and generate the embed code. Because then you can just copy it and then you can do a copy paste. For me, that was faster. But Either way
Yeah.
works, I guess.
Yeah. If you needed to customize the size of it, then you would want to go to the video link instead.
Yeah.
But that embed code, you can use that if you want it to pop up like this. Okay. Sorry about that, Tess. What were you saying?
I just wanted to see what it looked like, and I see that
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Awesome.
In fact, I went to the video, and you know how when you want to find the embed code for YouTube,
Hmm.
there's actually a place where you hit and share, and I didn't see the share, which was underneath. So I was trying to figure out how to, so I'm glad you showed me this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
point too. On YouTube videos, same idea. The share button does
Yeah.
offer a way to embed. Um, okay. I see Maddie's question about if we're, back in the draft or whatever, editing the page. What will it look like if we switch it to WYSIWYG? So that is one thing that does change, not change, but it does mess with the code. So if you are working in an area, and actually, does it mess with the code? I'm seeing everything properly. So we come over to WYSIWYG.
Yes, you'll
We
lose
don't,
the QR codes later on if you save it this way.
yeah, no, if you are saving it in WYSIWYG, then you definitely will not see the video. I'm just not sure if you come back to full HTML after changing it, will it make any difference? So let's test it. Let's say I forgot to switch it back to full HTML after I made my changes in WYSIWYG. We save, and we're like, oh my gosh, where's the video? So let's see if we just simply change it back to full HTML, will that do the trick without having to, paste in the code once again? Save that to full HTML. Yeah, that looks like it's no longer there. Okay,
And
so,
your QR codes should have disappeared too.
oh,
If you,
this is my reverted version, so I don't
yeah,
have the QR code
yeah,
anymore.
anything you created that way will disappear if you save it as WYSIWYG, and it won't come back. I've done that many times.
Yeah, so let's
So once you go
see.
to HTML, you always got to go back to it and save it that way.
Right. So if you do save in WYSIWYG, yeah, there's a very good chance that the code you had previously on there won't be there anymore, even if you saved it as a draft. I'm going to go ahead and test it again, first saving it as full HTML, just so that we can see it did get added back. I think more to Maddie's question, it's probably more about I want to come into the draft, switch it to WYSIWYG, make my changes, and then go back to full HTML. That should be able to happen, no problem. Let's see. Okay, no, it did drop off. All right, so those are all very, very good questions. In this case, where the video is in the middle of the page, I think this is where I would recommend like how I was saying to Tess that you can use the body with embed code section down here in tandem with the body area to better reorganize your page. So in this body with embed code new little paragraph box, I'm adding the embed code for the video. And that's just so that it can be on its own. It won't disappear because I've changed it to WYSIWYG. I won't need to change this to WYSIWYG at all. And then for anything I want to display underneath that, I'm going to add an additional formatted text box. Let's see. Okay, so first I'm going to save this so we can see also what it looks like without me making those changes of, adding the content underneath. So since it's, under the body area, it shows up under all of that. But let's say I want it to go back to where I had it under the join or renew now button. So then that's when I am going to take all of this. We cut it because we don't need it there anymore. I can, whoops, get rid of anything else that's there. And then the formatted text box is where we have the rest of the page's content. You can add as many of these paragraph boxes as you need. If you need more embed code, if you need more formatted text, they all switch between each other. But it just allows you to have more control over the arrangement of the content. So now what was in my body area is just this. This video is on its own in its own little body with embed code paragraph. And then the rest of this is on its own little body with embed code paragraph too. Okay, I'm going to take another little second, try and catch up with, okay, awesome. I see Sandy's recommendation on how to generate a QR code. Oh, and Mary Jo, yes, there is another way to do videos. I think right now, though, it is not working as expected. So the embedding option is the way to go for the Vimeo video. So let me just show off where that is. The media browser is not only a way for you to upload files from your own computer, there's the ability to upload from the web as well. And so you can see here the supported internet media providers are Vimeo and YouTube, but right now we are seeing an issue with the Vimeo URLs. Let me see, do I still have it? We can just show it off. But I will show you a YouTube video. I know that this is not a YouTube video, but yeah, so it unfortunately does not get taken up in the upload. But just to show you what it should do, let's see. Whoops. So I'm just opening up a YouTube video here. You can just copy the URL from the top or share whichever URL. Like I said earlier, you have the option to embed from here. But when you drop in a YouTube URL, it will take you to the, file description and all that. So it immediately uploads it because it's technically being housed on YouTube. So unfortunately, that's not working for Vimeo right now. So if you did want it embedded, you would have to go with the embed code. All right. As much as I'm trying to catch up in the chat, I'm not sure if I will be able to. I know we have a couple of minutes left. If anybody has questions, that's still here, go ahead and raise your little virtual hand. And if you have any trouble raising it, you can raise your actual hand. But yeah, we can spend a little bit of time to get through some more questions. So if you see yourself at the top of the virtual hands up list, go ahead and start.
Hi, thank you for that. It's a lot of information. I'll have to rewatch the video to get it all. But is there a way to get rid of a button that's on the sidebar?
Yes. As long as it's one that you've added, then you'll have the ability to get rid of it. So let's use this button as an example.
It's specifically the join and renew button that we have. Is that embedded?
It shouldn't be. The button that we have or the buttons that are embedded and globally set where you can't remove it from Milo are in the purple and gold site, the donate and join button in the header.
Okay.
And then on the, let's see if I can, sorry, let's see if I can remember which one is a red and blue. Yeah, and then the red and blue has the donate button in the sidebar. So if it's a join/renew button, it will be one of your own. So let me go ahead and show that with a couple of these in the sidebar.
Thank you.
Certainly. All right, so I'm in the home page. I'm in a draft of that. I'm scrolling all the way down to sidebar content. And so in my specific case, I have all of my buttons here. If you had them, across the sidebar embed code, how we kind of saw an example of before, then, remove them from there as well. But as long as you're just backspacing, you'll have those removed. Just make sure to publish because if you do save your homepage as a draft and you've made changes to the sidebar, they won't show up. So publish and save.
You just show me again where you, on the Administrator League menu, where you actually found that sidebar?
Yeah, so I'm on the home page and I'm clicking new draft or edit draft. I'm going to a draft of the home page.
Uh-huh.
I'm scrolling
All the way
all the
down.
way
Okay.
down.
Got
Yeah,
it.
and then specifically sidebar content.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Sherry.
Okay. I guess I'm a little confused about the links that we're using. We only got one link. Is that also supposed to be for the member portal?
Double check the email because I did see the text of the email that the general login link was not blue and hyperlinked. It was in text. But that, I mean, I can also throw that in chat because that one, since it's the general login link, we know what that one is. Yeah, so they had just
Thank you.
written it portal.lwv.org, so it wasn't very obvious.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, just to point out earlier, as I said, if you just type in portal.lwv.org, then it won't it will the Milo system assumes it's an internal link. And so having the HTTP or the HTTPS will be very helpful. And there was a question earlier about what's the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. It just means that one has an SSL certificate, but if the URL is written without the S, the browser will be smart enough and get you there. All right, Pam.
You had sent out in the email that we could get a clone of one of the sample pages that
Mhm.
that you had put out there, and I had, I was interested in that, and I requested it, and I would like to know more about the process of, okay, how does that clone work? Is this something that you'll send me a link or you'll do something on our webpage, or what do I have to do? I'm going to need to extensively edit it. Can you talk a little bit about that how that works when, I sent in an email and saying I wanted the clone page, gave the information, what happens next, and what do I expect?
Yeah. So let's actually, well, I have a clone here. It isn't exactly the clone that we had been talking about. Actually, I'm going to use the Spokane area one. Okay. So, like I said, it isn't exactly the same version. I could probably get away with copying it. So that was one thing too, Pam. If you instead of working with a clone, wanted to work with just updating your current page and essentially having a new draft on your existing page, it won't take over what you currently are showing to the public, but it will allow you to keep using the same page. Then what you can do for the page that you wanted cloned, copy everything, and then on your existing page, your current membership page, you come back over. I'm just backspacing, erasing everything, and then you paste that in. And make sure you don't paste it as plain text. You want to make sure it keeps all of its formatting. So if you went this route, I would start out with first off the text that you need to change. So, if you're not in the same state, change that, change it to what you need it to be. Get rid of anything else and, update links on the text as well.
I am very confused right now. I'm not sure if we're talking about the same thing. But did you just copy? You just did a copy of someone's web page, or what did you copy? And how does that relate to the request I put in? When you put out an email that said, if you would like a clone, if you would like a clone of your web page, send us the information about your group.
Right.
And I don't, I'm not sure whether that's the same thing that you're talking about now, or this is something different. I'm very confused.
It is related. It is a way to have the same content on your current page from that page that you would like cloned, but the benefit here, as opposed to me cloning the page to your site, is that you don't have to rename this page to something old, and then the other one would be renamed to the join page. So it saves you that necessary step of once the clone comes in, you're going to want it to take the place of your current join page. And the only way it can do that is by having your current join page renamed to something else because it's going out. It's the old page. And then the cloned page, you would want to then you'd need to rename that join. And then that would be then your new join page. And so that's why I'm going through this process instead. Copying and pasting may be easier.
Okay. So you said something, when the cloned page comes through, what does that mean?
Once I clone it and save it to your site.
Okay,
And that I have not done yet for your site.
So you would clone the Diablo Valley page, you would send it to my site, so it would appear as a draft on my site. So I would see that where would I see that? When I go into my join page, I would see that there's a new draft available or something.
You would have to go under manage content.
Manage content, okay.
Yeah. And so that is where the page itself will be accessible to you, since it's not in your menu yet, and it's also only available to webmasters as a draft. And then from there, let's see if I can remember which page to change. Okay, so let's keep using this one then. So this page here, renamed page, we can pretend that this is the clone. I'm going to hold this one off for a second. And what I first want to do is this is the page that is currently my join page. So if I'm working with my current join page and the clone is kind of in waiting, what I first need to do is rename the join page. So this is so that it allows or lets go of the /join URL. Let's just name that whatever. So we save. Whoops. And I'm supposed to publish that. There we go. So just to show you what that did. So before, my URL was ending in /join. As soon as I change the name to rename, it takes that as the ending for my URL. And we did that so that we could use this URL now. So that URL is going to go over here. So renamed page will go from that to join. Let's change that to join. And this process I'm talking about does not apply to if you've just made a new draft on your current join page. You can disregard this completely. This is only if you are working with a clone or if you started creating an entirely different page from the one you currently use.
Okay, so I am just trying to figure out how, so it sounded like if you drop that page onto my website and I go to the manage content, I can somehow find that cloned page. So I can either choose to rename the clone page to be my new join page, or I can copy content from that and put it on my current one.
Yeah, and I think the copying will probably be the easier route. Since you won't have to do these extra steps where you rename this page and rename the other page. Yeah.
Right.
So
that sounds like what I would definitely want to do. So I can just copy from the text box. I can copy what's in there into my current join page and edit it as I want and then save it. And
Yes.
I don't have to change any of that doesn't change anything, and I don't have to redirect.
Right. No redirect needed. The only thing you would need to do is, change the text, change the links, as
Okay.
necessary.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. And then a quick point too about where and how to copy it. You don't need to come into the editing form. You can copy it from here, but you can just do it from the public facing side or, from the front end of the page, and just copy everything you need.
I'm stunned a little bit. I can just copy and paste the whole page without, just, and that will change. That will-
Yeah. Yeah. You copy all of this, even if it has images in there too, because you're copying from one Milo page and pasting into another Milo page. It's happy to bring all the formatting over. So
Okay.
I would recommend just doing it from the front end just so that it's a smoother, easier copying, process.
And so if I do it that way, would I make the changes before I copy and paste or after?
After.
Okay. So copy, paste, edit, publish.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out if you need some, further assistance in that.
Sorry, was one last thing. When do you think that I would be able to access that? I know you've got a lot going on, but I'm just curious.
I can get that to you today. Yeah.
Okay, that would be awesome because I was really hoping to work on it soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Kate.
I hope this is a quick question. You on this page, the very page that you're on right now, you have several buttons, and I just want to make sure I know which ones I'm changing to which. So if you could go to the top of the page.
Very top.
Yeah. You had a portal link on the left. I don't have that yet, but I'm assuming that will happen at some point.
Yes.
And that will be to the ChapterSpot portal.
Correct.
Okay, and then our donate page will probably remain what it is because we're going to continue to use PayPal for that. Our join page is what we're trying to do with this page, and I'm pretty sure I know what I want to do with that. But on this page, the join renew button would be the same as the join button at the top of the page.
This one here, yes. On the
Well,
sidebar.
but so would the one embedded in that renamed page.
This is where you have to manually change it.
Yes, but it would be the same as the join renew page. It'd be the same link.
I think so. It's hard to say because it's how each league has set up the specific page. But if we're talking about, the
Oh no, this is the join renew page. So this would be the ChapterSpot page link.
This is where you would want to change it to the ChapterSpot link.
Okay, that's what I was trying to confirm. Now, if you could scroll down just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can be sure your membership dues add to, okay, that's not a button. Join renew online is would be the ChapterSpot again.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
So right
I got
now,
that makes sense.
yeah, right now because it's still set up as the current or old way, it is both of these links are leading to a Milo form right now.
Oh, okay.
But yes, you are correct that both of these links, you would want them to go to the ChapterSpot form.
Now, here's one of the problems that we found regularly with our membership page. We do have a form, and we have a link to our PayPal. Invariably, somebody hits the submit page and never gets to the PayPal page. Or they hit the PayPal page and we never get the membership info. I'm assuming that's going to be solved with ChapterSpot, so I'm not very worried about it, but I might still want to do, I guess this membership information form could be a separate form page, web form.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. In case you did want to collect extra information that your chapter spot form is not collecting. That's one way. But I think I saw earlier in the chat here that somebody did say you do have the ability to edit the questions on your chapter spot form.
Well, we get a second form, I think.
Okay.
That, but I think that's the better way to go, because once they get onto chapter spot, they're never coming back.
Yeah.
So,
But
thank you.
I think that is the better way to just add those additional questions onto the chapter spot form, because you are totally right. When it comes to the form that you would have to fill out on Milo, and then you would have to then click onto PayPal. We do see that often, or whatever payment processor you're using, where the visitor often doesn't complete that second necessary step. So the chapter spot method, or the way that we're doing it now for membership, is going to help catch everybody that's already filling out the form and all that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Whew, folks, I think we made it through today. I will definitely be checking in on those buttons. Pam, I will get you your clone, and yeah, I will see what I can drum up as far as at least one version of the high res buttons. I'll see what I can push out there. But yeah, I will be posting in the Google group very soon with some more information. Yeah, Liz.
Well, I have never found any place where I could use a form and go through it and see how it works, because we want them to click other. That nice video doesn't include that. Have they given a beta version where we can actually go through the form and see what our users are going to use? My treasurer signed up to be a beta tester, and she never got back. Was there beta testing done?
I am not too sure. Okay, yeah, go for it, Kate. You're muted there. Kate, you're muted. Kate, you are muted.
Okay, sorry. So there's some videos on that league management site for training purposes, and there is a membership training that shows the chapter spot page and how it works. That was very helpful for us. But they also there's also a link somewhere in one of the messages you would have gotten at your league that has a copy of the questions form that you can then modify yourself to add questions that you want to add.
But I just want to test it. I just want to
Yeah, I
use
know.
it.
Me too.
I mean, that's what usually happens. Somebody goes and tests it.
It's closed right now. We won't have access to adding our own questions or modifying anything until after it's live.
Well, that's not usually how software is developed.
I know, because we never made up any questions, and I'm like, well, how do I do it now? And they said, it's too late. You can't do it. You won't be able to do it until it's live.
Okay, well, I got my answer.
Sorry.
But yeah, and in case you wanted to see what Kate was talking about, I'm assuming it's in one of these trainings on the Chapter Spot resources page. Ed.
Hi, yes, I just tried to make a change on my main page, just a simple deletion of text and trying to publish it. And I'm getting this red box at the top. It says to add the membership button in the sidebar. And
Oh, okay. Thank you for bringing that up, because we hadn't tried to save the page without making changes to those buttons. So if you're going in to edit your home page for the first time after the membership buttons have been added, and they got added, during the session here. Sorry, quick pause for the chat. Linda, that's the link to the Chapter Spot resources page. Check under membership chairs. I'm not sure which specific training it is. If Kate, you're still here, if you could drop that in the chat. I'm not sure if she still is. But check out the membership trainings. I think that's what she referred to. But back to what Ed is talking about. So you are coming into your home page. I'm just gonna try and save it. But even if you try to make some changes, same idea. If you try to save without making a change to those new membership buttons, this is what you're gonna get. There's an on and an off button for all three of those buttons. If you don't want to use any of them, you still have to click off for all of them.
Oh,
So that's just, your first time back into editing your homepage now after earlier today.
That's all
So
we do?
yeah, under advanced settings,
Yeah.
and it's at the very bottom there. Oh, and I didn't show you guys what it looks like for the red and blue site. So let me actually turn them all on. I'm just putting any link in there. All right. I have quite a bit in my sidebar, but it does show up there at the bottom. And then, like I said, the purple and gold site is the only one that gets affected in the header. The red and blue doesn't have those buttons there. Yeah. And then Jennifer.
I just wanted to say you got 66 people today.
Wow. I
So
hope
I'm exhausted.
I hope it was beneficial to at least half.
All righty. I'm going to go.
All right.
But
Yeah.
thank you very much for running this. I'll probably be back here on Monday.
Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.
All right. Mary Jo.
Well, I just wanted to say that luckily I do have a teammate, Jennifer, who does the hard stuff. So I feel very lucky. But I was going to say, I know that some of those 55 people are, not as knowledgeable as some of us. And it sounds to me like, and that's what I think this is what we're going to be doing, Jennifer. We're taking what we already have, our membership page, and we're editing it as we need to and have the correct links. And that's what we're going to do. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably the easiest, unless I'm missing something.
No, I think you're on the right track. It only starts to get more complicated the more pages you use. So it is typically easier if you just have a couple of buttons, because like you said, you just have to go in, change the links for those, and that's usually about it. It should be rather easy for most folks, but that's why we're doing these sessions. The subject matter will be the same for Monday, but it may just change because different participants might have different situations. So that's really all it hinges on. So yeah, I think it is up to you what your league is going to do, but that's why I wanted to just show all the different ways that you can do it, because it's hard to tell you exactly these are the instructions you need to follow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ed. And sorry, I muted you there. You'll have to unmute.
Okay, I'm unmuted. I turned those buttons off, and now the portal button at the very top disappeared. Is that correct?
It did. It looks like our development team is still working on that button.
So don't worry about that one.
Yeah, you'll probably see it pop back up later today. But either way, you won't have to worry about it. Once it's back up, it'll just be up.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Linda, I'm not sure exactly where Kate went in the resources page. She did mention it was membership trainings, but there are several, so I'm not sure exactly which one it was.
I did see it on your screen there.
Okay. Did you know which one it was, though?
It's under
Which
chapters,
date?
but well, it is the membership shared training slides that you have on the screen right now.
Okay.
And that's the training slides, but you can also see the chapter spot page itself in at least the November 11th video. I didn't watch the other ones. I was at the November 11th.
Okay. So Linda, I dropped both of those, but it sounds like the last URL I dropped is the actual meeting where it was shown. Thank you so much, Kate. Nancy, go for it. Just unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So the button that's going to be on the top, I think we're the purple and gold, I believe, uh, for getting to Chapter Spot, that's never going to go away, or that is in process of being able to hide it?
I'm going to see if we can hide it. I'm not sure.
I think it'll be confusing because we're going to embed it in a new join page. I've got a join new that will take place. I will, rotate them over. And I think it will be more confusing because people will be going there. The other question is, after somebody goes to Chapter Spot, is there a return back to our webpage?
What I heard in a previous Milo office hours was that at the bottom, just like how most sites are set up. Let me see if I can move this over. If you could see my side or footer, we have, a link to Milo. I think it should be something like that, where a link to your league's homepage should be. That's what I heard in one of our previous office hours sessions.
That from the Chapter Spot?
From the
it will
Chapter
take
Spot
us back?
form.
Okay, so there's some way to return back so that people aren't just lost in space in Chapter Spot world.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure exactly if that's something you control or if it is something that's just already built into the form.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Right. Unfortunately, a lot of things we'll find out because yeah, as it was said, we won't really be able to make changes to those forms until they are live.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other last questions? Like I said, we will cover the same stuff on Monday. It may just change because different folks will be here. All righty.
Well, thank you very much. You've spent a lot of time on this.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to help people feel, more at ease. It is a process that's not up in the air, but it doesn't feel real until we have the page live and we're able to, make it work. So hopefully Monday will be pretty stress-free for all of us. We kind of just gotta say woosah and roll with the punches. So hopefully Monday then we'll have some more handle on the situation and we'll be able to really make the changes that are going to stick for your Milo site. Yeah, awesome. All right, thank you everybody. If I don't see you Monday, then that just means you have successfully set up your new membership and you are good to go. All right, folks, thank you so much. I'll see you in the Google group later with some updates. All right. Bye-bye,
Really
everybody.
appreciate it, Amaris. Thank you.
No problem at all. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.